Today we're going to be making a video that I really didn't want to make. I suggest not eating anything before watching this video. Trust me, you'll thank me later. Now, let's get started.
Okay, I got a whole pound of bison left, so we're gonna make a bison burger out of it.
I absolutely love that cutting board. It's time to throw this piece of you-know-what out and buy a new one. Now, if you are to take a magnifying glass, and with this one we don't need the magnifying glass to see, but if you were, every time the knife passes on top of the cutting board, you're cutting into it. Now, for the most part, it's fine, and plastic is a standard to use in the kitchens. We have to use plastics, but using cheap little plastic cutting boards like this, where the plastic's not as hard, you can get bits in your food.
Pound of ground bison, garlic powder.
For those of you guys that don't know what bison is, it is buffalo meat. Now in the US, it's more readily available. I haven't seen it here in Europe. I'm not saying that you can't get it, but I haven't seen it. Now bison is a little different than beef. Bison is much leaner, so when you cook it, you need to be careful. If you overcook it, it will be much harder than what you will expect. It will be like rubber.
Dried chopped onions. There we go. Here we go. Gonna crack an egg in there.
Well, that's the first time I've ever seen anyone punch an egg before. Maybe it was a bad egg and he decided to hit it. But in any case, if you're gonna open it like this, be a little careful. Eggs are delicate. You don't really need to give it a lot of force.
Top it off. Some of the best teriyaki sauce you'll ever taste. Just for a little kick, a little flavor. All right, a lot of flavor. There we go.
Ground meat in general is usually of lesser cuts of meat, of beef, of pork, whatever it may be. It's all the sinew, the ligaments, or the trimmings, the fat. It's the extra bits. And sometimes you even get a few bones here now and then, so you have to be careful. But in any case, it's normally of lesser quality, unless of course you ask the butcher to make it with a better cuts of meat, or you do it yourself. Bison per pound per kilo is more expensive than beef. Again, it depends on what brand you're getting and what the bison has eaten, just like the cow, what they ate, if they're grass-fed, if they're pellet-fed, whatever. With a better quality type of meat, you don't want to cover that flavor up.
Now, you're thinking, ew, there's a lot of liquid in there. How am I gonna hold that all together? I'm gonna mix it, it's gonna fall apart when I fry it. Well, that's why you get the breadcrumbs out. Love breadcrumbs. What breadcrumbs do, they add a little substance, but they also hold everything together. Okay, here we go. Ready? Nice.
When you need to add a binder to ground meat, you can add an egg to ground meat. This will be a binder. If you add the whole egg, you need to make sure that it's for the right amount, because if you add a whole egg, it will be a little too watery. Just the yolk you add normally is the binder. You can also add breadcrumbs. Breadcrumbs will absorb the excess moisture and will help keep everything together. Now, instead of using breadcrumbs, there's another method that I use for my meatloaf and for my meatballs and everything else, and it's called panade. Now, panade is a French technique. It's an older technique by taking either stale bread or bits of bread that you cut up, add a little bit of milk to it, and then mash it into a paste. And what this paste does is it not just helps as a binder, but it also helps to keep everything moist. If you add too much of the panade to the ground meat, it will taste a little too much like bread, so you don't want this, but you just need to add a little bit, just enough, to help keep the ground meat from, well, drying out and from it becoming quite hard if you want it cooked a little more well done.
Okay, here we go. Ready? Nice.
There are so many things to pick apart in this video. I can stop every 5 seconds. So, first off, rings in general are not a good idea to use. It's your prerogative. If you don't care, that's fine. Specifically types of rings like this, where you either have little diamonds or little rubies or whatever it may be, little things, attachments on them, they can fall off while you're working, and then that goes into the food. When mixing ground meat or anything like this, you want to always try to get the biggest bowl that you can use, so you can well, put both hands in it and mix it well. And if you don't have a big bowl, you can use a pot if you don't have a bowl. If you don't have a bigger pot, then you can use a tray, but something that you can use to be able to mix it properly, because it's a little ridiculous having to use such a small bowl and not being able to get your hands in there.
Nice. See how it's kind of sticky? Got to be medium rare or rare. So if you don't like medium rare or rare burgers, don't do this.
To clarify a little bit, bison doesn't need to be rare or medium rare. You can cook it to medium, and you can cook it to well done. You just need to remember that it is going to be harder, but if you cook it to medium, it'll be fine.
There's one. You know they're perfect consistency when they try to almost stick to your hand, but they don't. There's two. Beautiful. There's three. They're almost done. Look at them. Oh, they smell great. They're almost done.
There is like no moisture in the pan. It's dry. Buffalo is lean, but that lean is a little surprising. But in any case, it is lean, so you do need to add like a little bit of oil. But these burgers do not look like they're done yet. I mean, they're not cooked. They're still plump.
Still a little pink on the sides here. I'm just going to wait a few more minutes. Never, by the way, never, write this down, never press down your patties. It's such a bad thing to do. It squeezes all the juice out of them. Look at those bad boys.
So there is such a thing as a smash burger, and a smash burger is when you actually smash the patty as you're cooking it. But if you do have a patty that's about this thick, and if you don't squeeze the juices out, it will have more flavor. Then again, unlike carbonara, burgers are very versatile. You can make them however you want them, basically.
Okay? Never do that. I'm going to show you how to build a hamburger. That's right. Normally I don't, I'll just show you the end product, but let's show you how I put it together. Grab yourself a bun. These are the King's Hawaiian buns. They're so sweet. They're delicious. Little drop of teriyaki, because it is a teriyaki bison burger.
Now, like everything, everybody has their own opinion about how they like their burger, but I like my burger buns toasted. When you put the burger on it, it won't be as soggy. It helps a little bit, just a little bit. I mean, it won't save it, but it does help a little bit. And it adds a little bit of texture as well.
Gonna slide that right on the bun. Beautiful. Look at that. Now, before it cools down,
this burger looks so dry. You need to cook it with a little bit of oil, and you need to treat it properly, because otherwise it will look dry, but this looks dry.
grab yourself a piece of cheese so the heat starts melting it.
Oh. Grab a piece of cheese so the heat starts melting it. You're supposed to put it on when the burger is still hot in the pan, or you can put it in the salamander and flash it for a second, or in the oven again and flash it for a second. Or if you're cooking it on the stovetop, put a lid on it, because like this, the cheese is not going to melt properly. It's cold by now. I mean, it takes time when you're filming. It takes a lot of time to be able to move around the kitchen.
Slice of tomato right on top. Now, I don't know if you have these. They always have them at Subway. They're called pepper rings, or banana peppers, or pepperoncinis, or whatever you want to call it. I like this. Gives it a little extra kick. Put that right on there.
After this video, we're going to have to review another burger.
Beautiful. And top it off once again. Little drop of teriyaki there. That's my teriyaki. Okay.
Jack makes his own teriyaki sauce. Oh, nice. He put a decent amount of teriyaki sauce already in with the ground meat. He put some on the bottom, and then we put some more on top. I mean, it's smothered in teriyaki sauce. So I'm wondering if he didn't really like this bison meat.
It's awfully big, isn't it? Wow. And center it on the plate. There you go. All right, here we go. Now, I have to warn you, once again, this is going to be rare. So if you don't like rare, you might want to leave the room now. There we go. Oh, yeah. Gorgeous.
All right, now I'm not going to be nasty with Jack, because you can fumble when you're speaking on camera and everything. Sometimes you don't think it happens. But before, just a few minutes ago, we did not want to smash the burger. What you do not want to do is smash the end product of the burger. Because if you look at it now, it looks sad.
I know it's going to be beautiful. I just know it. Oh, nice and pink, the way I like it.
Nice and pink. Now, everyone likes their burgers done differently. So it's your own personal preference. Let's pretend that this is for a restaurant. You can still see the sinew. If you zoom in here, we can still see the sinew. This is more blue than rare. With steak, you can cook your beef to medium rare to blue, and you will not get sick more often than not. The moment that you start grinding everything up, you will start to mix all the bacteria, the salmonella, whatever it may be, that's on the surface of that meat. So that internal temperature needs to be higher to be able to kill the bacteria. To be considered rare, the internal temperature, the internal temp, needs to come up to 120 Fahrenheit. I don't like mine fully cooked because it can be like a rubber ball that you put in your mouth, but more cooked than this. This is too underdone.
I can hear the emails coming. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Just take the bell off and put it on a bun. But anyway, there it is, right there. Let's give it a try. Well, there it is. It's gorgeous.
I bet he's gonna say it tastes delicious.
Don't forget, when you cook bison, it's either rare or medium rare. You go to well done and forget it. It's going to toughen up. All right? So let's give this baby a try. Mmm. Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
I honestly don't know what to say. I mean, first of all, do not pick on Jack. This is not something to pick on him. We're reviewing the food, all right? Me personally, I would not eat this burger. I would need to cook it a lot more, and I don't like teriyaki mixed in with it. I could try it, but still with so much, no. One quick thing, guys, before we get into this video, please just keep in mind that this video is about the recipe, not about the person. Please keep the critiques to the recipe. I'll try to be an example and do the same myself, okay?
Hey everybody, this is the episode I've been looking forward to. My wife loves edamame, and we're doing edamame fried rice, and we got a lot of stuff here, but it's super easy to make. Come on in close and let's make something delicious.
The words cooking with Jack and delicious are not synonymous. In other words, they don't go together.
That's great. This did a great job. That's a lot of juice. Moist. Very good. Very good. All right, so let's run down everything. Got some already cooked brown rice.
Ew, brown rice. That's healthier, isn't it? So, well, at least it doesn't look clumpy.
Got some broccoli. Got my scallions or green onions. Got some kale. Got some eggs right here.
Okay.
Got the best teriyaki sauce you'll ever taste. If you don't have my sauce, you can use your own teriyaki sauce. You can use soy sauce in this recipe. Whatever works.
Normally you do use soy sauce when making egg fried rice. I mean, you can use anything that you want at home. Seriously, it's not just this, that, or the other thing. It's flexible, super flexible.
Did I say kale? Well, if I didn't, I'm saying it again. I've got olive oil spray. I've got olive oil.
He has olive oil spray and olive oil. Why not just have one? You don't need the spray.
Red bell pepper, onion, the lovely ginger, and then some shelled edamames.
Forget the onion, it's not in the recipe. You can use an onion if you need to, it's not a problem. Make sure that you dice it thin so it's not too big.
It asked for shiitake, but I couldn't get shiitake, so I'm going portobello.
You could have just used some button mushrooms, or maybe you couldn't get them at the time. If anyone's wondering what's the difference between a portobello mushroom or like button or crimini mushrooms, technically speaking, it's the same mushroom. It's just that they pick the mushroom a lot later, so they allow it to grow a lot bigger. Also, when cooking portobellos, it is a good idea to scrape out the ribs on the inside, unless you want a very dark like sauce or anything else. It just turns everything black.
Now your skillet's nice and hot, is what you're going to do is take your olive oil spray, or any cooking spray, take this off to the side here. You're going to spray it over here, just give it a coat. There you go. Put it back on the flame.
Let's talk about safety. When using olive oil spray, which is fat, it is a very good idea, and Jack's doing the right thing here. You want to do it away from the flame. So he is doing good, okay? Because what can happen if you do this over the flame is you have a fireball. And once you have a fireball in the flame, it can travel back upstream, and then you have a real problem.
Put your eggs in there. Want to cover the whole bottom with your eggs. Okay, once the egg's in the pan, put one of these lids on top of it so you can cook the top at the same time. The recipe asks you to flip it, but you know what? I think that's just as good.
The recipe told you to flip it. Whose recipe is Jack using? Why is Jack making an omelette instead of just adding this in with the pan and everything with the rice? This is a little bit reminiscent of Rachel Ray, isn't it? When she did the same thing. I think it was with her pad thai.
No. This is what drunk college kids do.
Once your egg's all cooked on the inside, stick this on a cutting board. Just slide it right out. And basically, it's going to look like something like this.
An overcooked omelet.
So just keep that on your cutting board for now. We're going to use that in a little bit. Okay, now bring your skillet back. Put half of your oil in, half the oil you're going to need. Our broccoli.
Ooh. That is a lot of broccoli. Also, when you cut the florets, it's a good idea to cut them a lot smaller, because if you leave them big like this, they're going to take a long time to cook. And if you want to do it properly, the proper way I'm doing it is to blanch these first. Because if you do it like this, you can do it, but it's going to take a while.
Bell pepper, kale.
He's overcrowding the pan right now.
And mushrooms. Take it easy so it doesn't fly all over the place.
Oh my goodness, he is way overcrowding the pan. So the idea is, if you have a small pan and you have a lot of ingredients, you can saute the ingredients off 1 by 1 or 2 by 2 and then take them out and then add the new ingredients. And that way, instead of boiling all the ingredients, the water will have time to evaporate while the oil is searing all the ingredients.
And you're going to cook these vegetables down until they soften. I do have to say I like your lids. I mean, look at this. The lid fits tight.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, and if you put the lid on it, it will speed up the cooking process because it will trap all the moisture in it, which is good, but not when you want to saute the veggies, because with a stir fry, you want like Uncle Roger says, no, that wok hay.
And I can mix things up inside without even opening it. I love that. Okay, so you're gonna cook this down 4 to 5 minutes, and it should shrivel up a little bit and give us some more room to work with. Oh, it's coming together nicely.
Like Jack is saying, with the mushrooms and kale, and that goes for a lot of vegetables, including spinach. Normally when you cook spinach, you add a whole bunch to it, and then at the end of the day, it's just like a few leaves that are left. In any case, it's because of you extracting all the moisture from those ingredients.
All right, time to add the good stuff.
Okay.
A little bit of garlic, a little bit of ginger.
Okay.
Get that all mixed in. Cook this 1 to 2 minutes just until it gets really fragrant. Okay, now here's the interesting part. They want me to push, I'm gonna do it over here. They want me to push the vegetables to one side. I've never done this before, but check this out.
I know, Jack, we can tell, but whose recipe is he using?
Put a little bit more of your oil in there, the rest of the oil. And then they want me to place the rice right in there.
Ay, that's not enough space.
Isn't that weird?
It is weird. The proper way would be to take all the vegetables out, saute the rice, put that in, fry it, and then add the veggies back in. When you're making fried rice, you get all those little crispy bits of rice that stick to the bottom.
You want me just to heat up and cook the rice. It's already cooked. It's brown rice, but they want me to cook it some more on that side. And you're literally just letting that rice cook right there for about 1 to 2 minutes. The best teriyaki sauce you'll ever taste in there.
Well, I do have to admit, Jack's best teriyaki sauce, I don't know if he made it or somebody else made it for him, but it does look like it has a good consistency. It also looks like he added a lot of cornstarch to it. You can see how glazy it is, which is normal for teriyaki sauce to be like a thick sauce, so this is perfectly normal. I would add a little bit of soy to this because teriyaki is a little too thick. It can also burn.
Turn the heat off.
Where's the egg?
And just work it in.
Ugh.
These eggs that I cooked. You thinly slice the eggs.
Ew.
And you place them in here, and they almost look like noodles. And there it is in all its glory. Edamame fried rice.
I mean, if you look at the egg fried rice, that has to be a very ugly bowl of egg fried rice. I'm sorry, but it doesn't look nice. Now, on the other hand, is it bad for you? To be honest, I think that Jack actually made probably one of the healthiest things that we have reviewed.
All right, so I'm not sure exactly whether you eat this with a fork or a spoon, because I've never tried it before, but let's, I'm using a spoon. I got a little kale.
I actually use a fork at home because I'm used to using a fork. I'm not used to eating rice with a spoon, but technically you're supposed to use a spoon.
A little broccoli, a little bit of everything. All right, here we go. You ready?
He's going to say it tastes delicious. Just keep this in mind. He is very biased on how his food tastes. Just keep that in mind.
All right, that's good.
What do you think?
That's enchiladas. That is real enchiladas.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's amazing now. It'll be even better tomorrow. It's perfect. You know, I have to tell you, these vegetarian dishes, it's like a mouthful of clean flavors. I know I've said this before, but it's like when I eat a hamburger, it kind of got like one common flavor. It's a hamburger. This, I can taste this. I can taste the kale. Another bite, I can taste edamame. Another bite, I can taste broccoli. It's awesome.
Typically with a burger, you have more going on than just the burger patty and nothing else. I mean, you have other flavors. If you put mustard on it, you'll taste that. The ketchup, if you add tomatoes, if you add pickles, onions, you taste those flavors with the burger. It's not just the burger. It depends on who makes the burger though. Hard to say on how it tastes because it looks horrible. I don't think it tastes awful because I know what all these separate ingredients taste like. I know what a lot of these ingredients with stir fry taste like because I use them. But presentation needs a little help.
Another great recipe on Healthy Eating Month. You guys, thanks for joining me. I'll see you on the next episode. Take care.
Another morning review, and today we're going to be seeing how Jack makes his lazy man's omelets. Beautiful. Yeah.
It's perfect.
And it's actually quite fitting that I have my cup of tea with me today. English breakfast. So let's see how he makes it.
Jack Scalfani here, and you're cooking with Jack. Another lazy man's recipe.
On the Cooking with Jack show. Forgive me if anybody doesn't like sarcasm. I'm a little more sarcastic in the mornings.
The Lazy Man videos have been crazy. I think it's the #1 series I have. You guys always want the lazy videos. So we're going to be doing Lazy Man omelets.
I mean, we've reviewed a few lazy man videos already, and trust me, they haven't been pretty.
Look how juicy it is. Look at the pool of, look at that. That's great.
So get a little milk and just kind of pour it in.
Whoa, that shot right back at me. First of all, grab one of these pots and fill it up with water and get it boiling on the stove, okay? I'll wait.
Now to do this, I wouldn't recommend using a non-stick pan to boil anything just because it's a little useless having a non-stick pot like this just to boil water. You don't need it.
It's time for viewer mail.
There you go. All right. Now, one of the people I want to say hi to is Olbus2. Olbus2 said that if I said hi to that person, I don't know if it's male or female, but they're from England, and if I gave a shout out to them, it'd make their life. So it's my pleasure to make your life. It just cracks me up.
If you don't know British humor, then you may not realize that the English are quite sarcastic. This is where I got most of my humor from, which I try to hold back quite a bit on the channel. I do, trust me, I'm much worse in person.
Also, there was Trash Can Oscar and Blue Rooster 94. I love your guys' names. You guys told me about a product called Putin's. Putin's. Or is it poutines?
No, Jack, it's poutine. Poutine. Not poutines, poutine. For anyone that doesn't know what it is, poutine is basically French fries with cheese curds melted on top and gravy poured on top. It's not the healthiest dish, but it is tasty, and if I can get the cheese, then maybe we'll make it.
Hold on a minute. Anytime I don't know how to pronounce a word, I go to the iPhone. It's called Is it Putin's or Putin's or
Poutine.
unbelievable?
It's
See
poutine.
what the pronunciation is.
No, putain is poutine. Not putain. Putin's a swear word. Putain is used for everything. It's the same word in English as F-U-C-K. Yeah? They use it for everything. It's like every other word is putain, putain de merde, putain, fille de pute. That's another word, bad word, yeah? Don't use that.
They want me to try one of these, so we might make one of those on the show. I think it's Putin's. That's my best effort. So
No,
there you go.
putain is poutine.
Anyway,
I feel like I'm back in school trying to teach someone on how to pronounce something.
I think I'm almost positive it's French, because French is like all over Canada anyway.
In the Western provinces, they speak English. It's very English. A lot of Irish, a lot of Scots, a lot of English. They speak English. They don't speak French Canadian. In Eastern Canada, they speak more French Canadian. And French Canadian is very different to French.
Pastèque, melon d'eau, petit déjeuner, déjeuner, le foot, c'est du soccer. On est nord-américain quand même. Hein?
All right, so forget that. We're done with that. Let's get into cooking. That's what the show is all about. Here we go. You got the pot of water boiling? Good. Put that over here. Just keep that boiling. We're going to be using that in just a minute. We're going to bring you in close and show you exactly how to do this. It's quick, it's easy, and you can cook more than one omelet at a time. I love this.
Finally, we're going to get to some cooking. We're almost halfway through the video, and the first half of the video is all nonsense. We're talking about this, that, and the other thing, just to add minutes to the video, just for showtime. And now, we're finally going to get to the cooking bit.
The water's boiling still, hasn't gone to a boil yet. It'll be ready by the time we are. Hand everybody in your family one of these bags, a Ziploc quartz bag, okay? Give them a Sharpie and say, write on here what you want in your omelet.
Now, considering that we've already reviewed a few of these videos that were supposedly easier, maybe I'll be wrong. So, let's see.
So let's say little Johnny wants
Little Johnny probably wants a new bicycle, or maybe a new phone, who knows these days.
veggies, okay, veggie omelet,
I was
all
wrong.
right. Dad wants
Dad probably wants some peace and quiet, and maybe a 6-pack of beer.
a cheese. Probably want to put their name on it too. Dad cheese, so you can distinguish who's whose. Okay? And then Mom wants
Mom wants, let's see, what does Mom want? Probably Dad's credit card.
ham and onion.
I was
We
wrong.
won't be kissing Mom after this, will we? There you go. Okay? Real simple. You're going to throw ingredients for Mom. Make sure your hands are clean. You're going to grab some onion. You're going to throw in the bag.
You know, I have the same feeling as little Tweety Bird here on the ball. You can see his expressions. Jack is going to be making some sous vide eggs. I've seen this before, and actually, if you've ever been to big buffets where they have scrambled eggs, more than likely, those scrambled eggs come in a bag, a very big bag compared to these little ones, that they throw in the tilt skillet or maybe in the Rationale oven, and they steam or cook or boil or whatever until they're fully cooked. It is a disgusting product. It really is a disgusting product. But it's the easy way on making mass amounts of eggs.
Throw the ham in there. Mom likes ham.
Sorry, children. When Jack said that, he made a little hee-hee. This is supposed to be for children, this video. Not good, Jack. Dirty mind.
Dad needs some cheese. Put a little cheese in there. There we go. Maybe in a pinch more. I know. I'm going to hear about this. Look at all the cheese you put in there. Now for the veggie.
Jack is going to be sous videing the eggs. However, he's going to be putting the ingredients, the other veggies, in raw with the eggs and then just sous videing them. Even with the little bell peppers here, those are still going to be crunchy. And so are the mushrooms. They're not going to cook. You need to cook those first if you don't want them crispy and crunchy. Saute them a little bit, let them cool down, and then add them to the eggs. And on top of that, you need to wash your hands. You have to clean your hands. And he's touching everything. He's touching the Sharpie, he's touching pieces of paper, he's touching everything there is in the kitchen, even the bags with the bloody grated cheese. You need to keep things clean.
Now you can prepare these the night before and zip them closed, put them in the refrigerator. or you can do it the morning of.
Yeah, you know what you could also do before, Jack? You could also saute the vegetables before or the night before, and that way you don't have raw veggies with cooked eggs.
Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take each one of these. We're going to drop 3 eggs in them. That's right. Never done this before, so there could be a chance for disaster on this, okay? So bear with me. Here we go. 1 egg. Ta-da. It worked. See the egg in there?
Now, personally, I wouldn't do this right into the bag unless you like eggshells, because it's a good possibility that you're going to get a couple in there. Unless you don't mind eating eggshells, it's just extra calcium anyway. Over here in Europe, they don't wash the eggshells, so sometimes you still see a little bit of, well, chicken shit on the shell, and even some feathers sometimes, because there's a natural barrier that protects the eggs, so they don't bleach them, and that way they can stay out of the fridge longer.
You're going to zip it closed. Don't burp it, but don't put a lot of air in it, okay? Going to mix it, break it all up.
And instead of playing with the eggs in the bag by, squeezing it, you can just mix everything up before and then pour it into the bag.
All right, we got all 3 bagged up. We zipped them closed. Now we're going to drop them in the boiling water. Let's take them over to the stove right now. There's the boiling water. Take all 3 bags, drop them in. You're going to cook them for about 8 minutes, and they're going to, the air is going to expand. When they get really, really big, you're going to burp the air out of them, and then cook them again until they expand, okay?
And honestly, when you think to yourself, the title of this is like Lazy Man's Method on Making an Omelette. Well, I can just make an omelette in a pan literally in less than 2 minutes, and it's with less effort than going through all of this. So by the time that I could finish my omelette, we're still cooking this.
And they're getting really puffy with air, so I'm going to burp them now. Now, when they expand again, they're good to go. You pull them right out. They're done. You're watching the Cooking with Jack show. We'll be right back, right after this message. Hey, how you doing? Jack Scalfani here to tell you about my line of sauces. It's called the best barbecue sauce you'll ever taste. It's so good, we made a hot one. There it is. If that's not good enough, we made the best teriyaki sauce you'll ever taste. Bam!
For a moment there, I thought this photo was actually Jack's backyard. Now, believe it or not, if you go to his website, which still is up and running, there's nothing else on it other than just an apron. That's it. There's no sauces. So I don't know, maybe Jack just sold out of the best sauces in the world. But to say that your barbecue sauce is literally the best tasting barbecue sauce ever, just because you put it on the label, it doesn't mean anything. That's just false marketing. I thought that was illegal too.
Make sure you have a towel laid down because these things are going to be wet when you pull them out. And I'm going to tell you right now, I have a tendency to burn myself and to cut myself on this show. So we're going to let that cool for a minute.
More than 14 minutes have passed, and in reality more, because you have to wait for the water to come up to the boil. No.
Why do you do it this way? Before we open these and take a look, see if it worked, you do this so that everybody eats at the same time. How many times have you done breakfast? 1 at a time. Another thing is you can do this on camping trips. Throw them all in one big pot. Everybody eats at the same time. The beauty is everybody eats at the same time. That's what's great about this. This isn't the perfect omelet. This is the lazy man's omelet. You want the perfect omelet? Here, click right there. That's the perfect omelet. You can go to the video in a minute. But for right now, this is the lazy man's omelet. Let's take a look.
Now, obviously, I'm coming from a professional kitchen perspective, and an omelet normally takes a minute or less, maybe 2 minutes, depends on the thickness and what you're making. But for breakfast, making 3 omelets doesn't take that long.
I have no idea how to get these out, so I'm just gonna cut it and see how that works. Oh, wow. Look at that. Ooh. Ta-da! It's beautifully cooked inside and everything. Gorgeous. Ha! Ooh, hot.
It's beautiful. What can I say?
All right, let's take a look at the veggie omelet. Look at that. Beautiful. And you can see, it's kind of funny. You can see all the insides all cooked too. See that?
I mean, when you wake up in the morning, you go downstairs and you see that that's on your plate for you to eat in the morning, you have to say to yourself that that's a beautiful thing. I mean, there are other people that will say that that probably looks like something the dog would cough up, but for some, this is a beautiful thing.
This is the cheese omelet. And the cheese omelet, oh my gosh, look at that. The cheese omelet came out absolutely perfect.
It's beautiful.
That's beautiful. Wow.
I'm not trying to be sarcastic. I am really holding back here. Really.
That was totally cool. I can't believe it worked. I'm going to try it right now and let you know how it tastes. I'm going to go for the cheese one. See how that tastes.
Beautiful. Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah. You know, I honestly think I need a beer or something after seeing this instead of just English breakfast. It's too early in the morning. Well, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, isn't it?
Woo! Yeah! Anyway, there you go. Another Lazy Man recipe. Don't forget to comment what country you're from when you're making your comments. We're going to see who the best is, okay? Take care, and we'll see you on the next episode of Cooking with Jack.
Too early in the morning to be very critical or anything, so I'm just going to put it this way. This happens in the professional kitchen. A lot of kitchens do use bagged eggs. It's disgusting. If you eat at buffets, more than likely you're going to be eating this. So I would suggest having eggs made for you to order instead of just eating something out of the gastro. If you're very worried about saving time in the kitchen and you don't want to be going through a whole rigmarole to make breakfast, this may not be the best method for you. Sometimes the old tried and true methods are the fastest, even though you do have to clean the pans, because in the end, yes, you can throw the bags away, but look how much preparation that you had to go through beforehand to actually make this, and then the time to cook it. If anyone thinks that I was overly mean with Jack, I apologize. That's not my intent to be mean with him. Jack is a character and I do like Jack. His food, on the other hand, I absolutely do not like. This I'll be honest.
Hey, how you doing? Welcome to Cooking with Jack. Just want to thank you for all the letters and emails you've been sending me. I am going to keep doing videos, so don't worry. A lot of you were asking, are you going to keep doing these? Yes, I will. There'll be plenty to come in the next year.
I don't think everyone's worried about him not making the videos. I think everybody's worried about him making more videos. Although I do have to admit that the previous pizza video that we did see with Jack wasn't that bad. I mean, he didn't make the pizza dough, he didn't make the masa, none of that. He just put a little bit of sauce on it and some, toppings, stuck it in the oven. That was it.
Tonight, we're going to do something special. My son's classroom is doing, tomorrow they're going to be doing a international day. So everybody has to cook a dish from their heritage and bring it to school tomorrow. So I figured, hey, why not? I wanted to do a video on how to make a lazy man's lasagna, and I'm going to be making that for his class. So the two came together and we're making the video right now.
Oh, those poor children. I mean, it's great that the school's doing this, cook a dish from your heritage and everything, but quite honestly, sometimes you have to be a little careful on what dishes people actually bring to like little potlucks, because especially the chili that we saw at the church, no, not good.
Let's take a look at the ingredients right now. Okay, here's all the ingredients. Now, when I mean lazy man's lasagna, I mean lazy. That's why you got these. Normally, I would be shot for being Italian and using these jars of sauce.
What did he say? I mean, the types of Italians that I know, they wouldn't do that. They would give you an earful. Oh, this yes. But for all jokes aside, and for the sake of YouTube, this is a saying in America, yeah? It's not an actual statement. It's just a saying.
Grab a thing of ricotta cheese. You're gonna need about a pound of mozzarella. Sometimes it comes in a square, sometimes it comes in a ball.
Sometimes it comes in a ball. Mozzarella normally comes in a ball. Mozzarella is fresh cheese. So when you actually see the actual cheesemakers making mozzarella, when they take the cheese in the hand and they squeeze it, they turn it into a ball. Whenever you see a mozzarella that's in the shape of a cube or a tube or anything else, especially like dry mozzarella, it's industrial. It could be good to put on pizza because then you don't have as much moisture. This, yes. I still prefer buffalo mozzarella, the actual authentic mozzarella di bufala. You don't have to put a lot of cheese on because if not, you do have a bit of a watery pizza. But the flavor, oof, is the best thing. And if you haven't tried it, you need to.
Now, normally we would put meat in this sauce, but since the classroom that we're serving this to may have vegetarians, we're gonna leave the meat out.
Something tells me that the vegetarian kids wouldn't really mind if meat was put in the lasagna because it would be a reason for them not to taste it. It's literally canned sauce, industrial mozzarella, and ricotta. And then he's using some dried macaroni pasta. So if you want to make a lasagna like this, that's fine. But I did make a lasagna not that long ago, which was a super delicious lasagna. It's easy to make. It's more of a traditional recipe, and I guarantee you that you will enjoy it a lot more than this.
First thing you're gonna wanna do is grind up the mozzarella. Okay, now, normally you can get shredded, but it's more expensive. I think it's like twice the price. So I'd rather just grind it up. I'm not that lazy and lazy man's lasagna. Okay? Then I'm gonna cook the macaroni and heat up the sauce, and then we're gonna just throw it all together. It's gonna be beautiful.
He said it. I'm going to quote him on this. It should be beautiful. We'll see at the end how beautiful it is, because normally the end result is not the most beautiful thing.
That's great. This did a great job. Moist. Very good. Very good. Okay, so the whole objective is, I always use the sink to mix everything, because if it spills over, it's not a mess. It goes in the sink, I rinse it off.
What did Jack say? Like, seriously, what did he just say?
I always use the sink to mix everything, because if it spills over, it's not a mess. It goes in the sink, I rinse it off.
This is something that I recommend all the time. At any point in time, whenever you have to pour anything into another container, anything and it's super messy, like, I don't know, let's say tomato sauce or even clarified butter, which I have a video by the way, or anything else, you want to do it over the sink. Why? Because if you do it in the sink, then all the mess goes down the drain instead of all over the kitchen. I do give credit where credit is due, and this is a good little tip.
I'm not the best at pouring this stuff, but we're gonna slowly put it in the pan here. There we go. Whoa, that shot right back at me.
I know a lot of you are gonna say that sounds like bathroom noises, but it's not. You know, it's tomato sauce going in a pot, not something else.
Whoa.
But tomato sauce does have a tendency to shoot back up at you. It's annoying. This is why it's a good idea when you're pouring the pot. Jack has the camera here, so he has to show it on camera, but to do it away from you or towards somebody that you don't like.
Then you're gonna take your mozzarella that we shredded. You're gonna put that in next, okay? And obviously in the heat, that's just gonna all start melting.
Oh.
So it's gonna be beautiful. You put that in there. Then the hot macaroni is gonna go in on top of that.
Why is he adding the mozzarella to the tomato sauce right now? Jack's trying to make a cheese sauce, but with tomato sauce. So instead of making sauce Mornay, which is a bechamel base, and then you add cheese to it, he's making this, but with mozzarella on top of it. Mozzarella has a very low melting point. It's also typically a very stringy cheese, so you can pull it like a lot. Honestly, where's Vincenzo when you need him? I don't think he's reviewed this video. He needs to.
I take them out of the box, I crack them in half. Okay, just so that they fit in the pan a little bit easier.
I didn't want to say anything wrong to this girl. She was just sweet. And now she's sour.
Kind of started on the melting process, just a little bit. You're gonna see that right there? You're gonna mix that, all that cheese in there. See it starting to melt? Not all the way, just get it warm. There we go. And then you're gonna dump the pasta right in on that. Still hot, burning hot. You're gonna throw that in, whoop, there we go. That'll work. You can always add more cheese if needed.
This
But let's
isn't
see where we're at
lasagna.
first.
This is not a lasagna. Jack's making a casserole. This is what he's making. This is kind of going the same way as the enchiladas that we saw.
You don't want to pour too much, so don't put too much at the beginning. Just kind of pour a little. Mix it really, really good.
That one was hard to watch, okay? This one, not as bad. That one, a lot worse.
Now we're gonna put in these. Now, once again, I'm doing a double batch. Sorry. It's the fun part of cooking. And since I'm doing a double batch, I'm gonna do double ricotta. There we go, come on. And this is one of my favorite cheeses. I grew up putting this in my macaroni all the time. I didn't even wait for ravioli night.
Now back home in America, it is quite easy to generalize what's Italian cuisine. I mean, you think of pizza, pasta, lasagna. The thing is though, the North and the South are quite distinct from one another. Pasta is pretty common to eat, this yes, but there are certain dishes that are more regional than you may think. They eat a lot of pizza and a lot of mozzarella, a lot of like fresh ingredients in the South. They also like a lot of fried food, fried pizza, even fried pasta. Absolutely delicious. And then in Northern Italy, risotto is very famous. Any Italians watching, let me know what you eat in your own province.
All right, now if you mix it properly, it's gonna look just like this. It's gonna almost be really clumped together, but it's gonna be just enough to slide right off the spoon. Now it's time to plate this. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna fill these up for the kids. This thing, it's burning hot. Okay, let's try this again.
When you put hot sauce, hot pasta, and everything else in a pot, more than likely it will be hot. So it is a good idea to be careful while doing this.
All right. This isn't one of my smoother videos, but it's good. I promise you that. Here we go. Just gonna start dumping it right in there. I hope I made enough. Yeah, I think I did.
I think he made too much. I think the kids would say the same thing. You made too much.
We're gonna move that over there. Bring the other one over here. See if that works. There we go. Oh my gosh. It's coming together, I swear. It's a lot more fun when you have family around to laugh at you.
The family also thinks it's funny. Good to know.
It's really easier than that, I'm telling you, especially if you have family helping you. The first thing you do is I saved a little bit of cheese, okay? Save a little bit of cheese. You can take a little bit of this and just gently sprinkle the tops. I would say just more for decoration than anything. You got tons of cheese in it. But it looks nice, gives a little contrast to it. And the other thing is you can bake these later. Now I'm gonna put these in the oven in the morning before I take it to the school. But you can bake these like a baked ziti and it'll get a hard upper crust, okay?
Jack's not going to cook and finish this now. So he just showed us a way of preparing it, which is fine, that's fine. When you make a lasagna, when you layer everything together, you get it finished, you don't have to bake it right away. You can actually prepare it and bake it later. This is perfectly fine. Or you could just bake it at the moment and then reheat it. You don't want to reheat it too many times though, and this has to do with a lot of food. You don't want to be reheating it too many times because if you do, between heating it, chilling it, heating it, chilling it, it crosses that danger zone of the bacteria growing and you're more likely to get sick. One thing I would highly recommend, I know that it's not really good because it can break your fridge, especially so much food, but it is a good idea to chill this as quickly as possible. In the commercial kitchens, we have blast chillers, we have big fridges, walk-ins that it doesn't matter, you can put hot food in there.
The one thing you don't want to do, these plastic lids that come with these trays, don't put them on right away. Because what you're going to do is you're going to collect all the moisture under here and then it's going to drip back into your lasagna and it's going to get real wet and loose, okay? Lasagna is good thick. I don't know how you like it, that's how I like it.
I'm not gonna be mean. I'm not gonna say what I'm thinking. In any case, whenever you cover something that's still hot, it is a good idea to leave with either aluminium or with film, a portion of it uncovered so that allows the rest of the heat to dissipate. Because if not, you'll develop too much condensation, but it will also not chill quick enough, which again, you can get sick.
And there was just a little tiny bit, just a little bit left over. So I'm just going to save this for me. And once again, I'm going to eat in front of you because I like doing that.
It doesn't mean that we like that, but just a little bit. Look how much he has on his plate. I guarantee you that weighs about a pound.
Oh, okay. It's amazing now. It'll be even better tomorrow. You have a good one. That's Lazy Man's Lasagna. Do me a favor. Keep sending those emails to the address below. I'll talk to you later. Bon appetit.
Right, so just to recap a little bit, Jack promised that this would be amazing.
And then we're gonna just throw it all together. It's gonna be beautiful.
Amazingly shocking? Yes, you can say that. Amazing itself? I don't think so, especially with just store-bought products. If you add herbs to this, you're going to make the lasagna taste a lot better, even if you use basic store-bought products, fresh herbs, basil, rosemary, thyme, whatever. Even add a little bit of garlic, add some sofrito, add some mirepoix to this to actually cook this tomato sauce in, make it taste better, anything. This would make the lasagna taste better.
Hey, how you doing? Jack Scalfani here, and you're cooking with Jack. Welcome back to the show. Forgive my black hat. My yellow one is still a little dirty from my son's little antics with the, you know, the big top cupcake scene. Yeah. You know how that turned out.
No, we don't know how that turned out. Please, do tell. How'd it turn out? What happened? You got a cupcake in the eye.
Anyway, I still have some cupcake cream in my eye. So that hat is drying. I had to wash it.
He got a cupcake in his eye. Useless information.
It's time to start getting back into some lessons. Right now, I want to start teaching you guys some tips and tricks, okay? So every so often I'm going to do an episode that's going to teach you something, whether it's parboiling or whether it's butterflying.
Whether it's cross-contamination in the kitchen, food safety and hygiene, which are very important topics. They are.
Just things that you see on cooking shows that you're like, what are they talking about? All right? Here's a little trick right now. For those of you who eat steak or any kind of cut of beef or any meat whatsoever, I guess this would work on. I've only tried it on steak so far, okay? It's called the poor man's filet mignon. And what that does is it's a way of taking a really, and I'm going to be just honest, a really tough, cheap piece of garbage steak, okay, and making it tender and amazing, falls apart. I mean, you could probably pull it apart with your fingers.
And the filet mignon is part of the fillet, or the filet, the beef tenderloin, the solomillo. It has lots of names in a lot of languages, but this is one of my favorite cuts of meat because it is super, super, super tender. Is Jack going to be dry brining this? Because I see he has a bunch of salt with steak, and this is the process of dry brine. I'll explain a little more about it if Jack doesn't.
It's really cool. My brother called me one day, goes, Jack, here, I sent you a link. Check this out online. There's this cool method of tenderizing your meat before you cook it. And it only takes about between 1 to 2 hours, depending how thick your meat is. Could be as little as 15 minutes. So let's show you how. I went to the store and I bought the cheapest piece of garbage they had on sale. So cheap.
Yeah, we know.
It was $1.99 a pound.
Ooh.
That's all I could find. If it was 99 cents a pound, I would have brought that home.
Cheap.
But it's called, what is it? Select Beef Cross Rib Roast. I don't know what that is. I know there's no bones in it.
$1.99 per pound. That is cheap. Well, keep in mind, these are prices that were more than 10, maybe 15 years ago. Oh, wouldn't it be nice to go back to those prices, like really. Now the cut that Jack's talking about, I think is more from the chuck region. If there are any butchers watching, please correct me on this. Now, this area of the cow gets a lot of work, so it is quite tough. It doesn't mean that it's bad or anything, but if you're going to be making a roast or something where it's slow cooking, it's a little better. The chuck is the shoulder area.
We're gonna open up these steaks, put one in each. Don't forget to wash your hands. If you haven't washed your hands, now's a good time to go wash your hands, all right?
It was a very good tip. You do want to wash your hands.
Okay, once again, I took one piece of meat and I had the butcher slice it right down the middle, okay? So that it would be the same cut of meat.
Okay.
Ah, beautiful. I love beef, as you can tell.
Well, I would have picked him more as a Doritos man, but yeah, no, it's tasty, definitely. Beef can be tasty, but a lot goes into a really good piece of beef. Not only the type of cow, what they eat, but how you cook it and season it.
It just looks good. There's so many things you can do with it. You can cook it a million different ways. This is not a good cut of beef, okay? I'm just telling you that right now. Okay, next thing you're going to do is you're going to take sea salt or kosher salt. And that's a very coarse salt. And we're going to take that, we're going to cover one of them completely with sea salt.
You know, the funny thing is that even though that he clicked on the link, he read this, I guess it didn't say anywhere that this was dry brining. So the person that actually wrote the link on doing this doesn't even know what this process is. That's funny.
Now the rule is this. Find out how thick your steak is. Ours is about 1.5 inches. Okay? So you're going to have to leave this on. 1 inch is an hour. So 1.5 inches would be 1.5 hours. Once again, every inch is an hour you leave this salt on. Don't be afraid to put too much on because we're going to wash this right off when we're done. But this is going to do something to the meat. Now, I don't know why this works. I'm sure some of you do, and you can write me in and tell me.
Right, well, if Jack's not going to explain it, then I will. Now, when we brine something, we make like a little slurry, a solution of water, salt, maybe sugar, and some other spices that we put the meat in, let's say a turkey, for the Thanksgiving roast. This will increase the moisture content of the bird, so when it's cooking, it won't be dry. Now, dry brining is literally doing it the dry method. Instead of using water, we're just using salt. And you can also use spices if you want. Basically, the salt helps to retain moisture during the cooking process, and it also helps tenderize the meat. The thicker cut, the longer you rest it. So if you're going to be doing a roast, better to do it overnight.
This is going to open up the meat. It does something to the protein molecules. I don't know the science to it. I just know it works, and I'm just going to show you guys right now. So we're going to let this set for, let's break out my measuring tape. That is about, you know what, that's about
Please tell me that he washed that measuring tape after using this, because that measuring tape is going to be used on other things around the house, and he just used it with steak.
1.25 inches. So we're going to do an hour and 15 minutes. You're watching the Cooking with Jack show.
Have a commercial.
We'll be right back, right after this message. Hey, how you doing? Jack Scalfani here. Just want to tell you about my line of sauces. They're called the best sauces you'll ever taste. That's right. It's called the best barbecue sauce you'll ever taste. Here's the best hot barbecue sauce you'll ever taste, the best teriyaki sauce you'll ever taste, and the best gourmet seasoning you'll ever taste. I don't do free shipping, but now Canadians can order the sauces too.
Is Jack pouring barbecue sauce on poutine?
So get a little milk and just kind of pour it in.
Whoa, that shot right back at me.
Now it's time to skip the rest of this commercial.
And now, back to the Cooking with Jack show. It's been an hour and 15 minutes, and you can see that all the salt has really become moist. It's drawing all the water out of it. You can also see, if we turn this, let me move this one over a little bit. If you turn this, you can see like the salt, there's a lot of moisture down in there collecting. And you can see where the water is coming out of the steak.
If you never tried this technique before, it is a really cool process. It works. It really does.
Just rinse the entire thing of salt. There we go. Get all the salt off it. And look, what you notice is, see all those openings? Look at all those groove openings. It's starting to kind of pull apart a little bit here. It's really penetrated the meat. Get a good rinse.
Come on, Jack, stop playing with it and get on with the video. Honestly.
This is a lot more falling apart. You can already see the grooves. Look at the separation. Can you see that separation right there? The separation right in there. All these grooves that are created.
No, you can definitely tell that the salt has started to work. It's starting to tenderize the meat. Basically, with dry brining, you're doing osmosis, where the salts help draw out moisture from the meat, and diffusion, where the salt is reabsorbed back into the meat. So basically, it seasons the meat. You could also think of it as the first steps to curing.
Now we're going to take these out and we're going to grill these. Now once this is clean of salt, season both of these as however you want. I'm going to season them up. I'm going to take them out to the grill and bring them right back.
Considering that Jack already dry brined one of the steaks, it should be heavily seasoned. You shouldn't be needing to add more salt to it. The other one that doesn't have any salt whatsoever, you need to season.
Okay, these just came off the grill. I want to show you some similarities and some differences. Okay, now I noticed while cooking, these were cooked over their own flame. Each one had a flame underneath it on the barbecue. They were cooked identically, same position, same amount of time. I pulled them off.
That is to assume if Jack cooked them both identically the same.
But the weird thing is, the untreated one looks like it curled up a little bit right on this end. And I don't know if you can see it, but it kind of curled up and it kind of looked like it cooked overcooked or got well done. But look at this one right here. This one's interesting because this still, I like my steak rare. This looks rare and this looks well done.
Steak is muscle. And depending on how you cook it, depending on the thickness, depending on a lot of factors, sometimes that muscle will contract. Now to say that this is well done just because it is curled up on you, doesn't mean that it's well done. More than likely, this is still like medium. The more well done you cook the steak, the smaller it will be because you will be extracting more moisture from it. So it will not be the same size. And if you are used to the hand test, it will be tough. Now, if you honestly are new to cooking with steak and everything, I would highly recommend using a thermometer that you can put into the steak.
Okay, this one definitely has more juice than this one.
You know, what would be helpful is to have like little name tags at the bottom of the video, either in the video itself or on the table so we can see. The one on the right has always been the seasoned one. It'd be funny though if he accidentally switched them. No, it would be.
This is the one seasoned with the salt. This is the one not seasoned with the salt. I'm gonna cut right into them. We're gonna see exactly how they cooked.
Right, so this is the well done steak because it was curling. It's not well done.
Oh yeah, nice and rare. Okay, that's beautiful. Let's take a look at this one. Same spot. Same thing. They're both beautiful.
No, they're good.
I'm gonna try and rip this,
They're good.
tear this meat open. It's pretty easy. A little nervy. I lied. That was a little tougher than I thought, but you can do it.
Why rip it with your hands? Cut a piece off and taste it. God, we don't need to be eating like cavemen, honestly. The only way to truly tell if it's more tender is to chew it. If anyone has tried eating a tough steak, you know exactly what I mean. It is not fun.
That goes right through. Wow. That was beautiful.
The burger was beautiful too, but That's very subjective.
Dried chopped onions. Here we go. Gonna crack an egg in there of the best teriyaki sauce you'll ever taste. Love breadcrumbs. Just take the bell off and put it on a bun. Well, there it is. It's gorgeous. Now, I think if you left the salt on a little bit longer, you would even have a better tenderizing procedure. All right, so here's the deal. I'm gonna take a piece of meat here. Wow, I know what I'm having for dinner.
Let's see what he says about this. I think this is going to be tougher. I really do, because the procedure works. It's not a fake thing. It really does work.
There's one piece there. I want the same size here. So we're gonna try this right now. We let the meat set. It should be perfect. This is the untreated. Good seasoning. Wow, lots of pepper. Forgive me. I love black pepper.
Oh, Jack, the fire extinguisher is behind you if you need it. At least I think it's a fire extinguisher. Maybe it's not.
It's really got a lot of flavor, but it immediately toughens up almost all the juices out of it, and it's now becoming harder to chew. Now the treated one
It's better.
This is more like a New York steak.
No, it's still the same cut. It's not a New York steak. But he did get a So normally, if you hear Jack make certain noises, you can tell whether or not something's good. Now, sometimes he makes some noises and then say something's good, even though that it doesn't look like it is. So it's a little hard to, honestly discern whether or not it's correct.
It's breaking up real easy. It definitely makes a difference. I've done this before, but I had to share it with you guys.
Sometimes it's hard to tell though, because he's still chewing it and it's taking him longer to chew than the other one. Why?
Delicious. I'm gonna get a little A1. I'm gonna sit down with these steaks and we're gonna have a conversation going. You guys, try it out. Write me, send me pictures. Tell me I'm not lying.
I mean, he didn't destroy the steak. He also didn't make something horribly disgusting like the garbage stew or the enchiladas or any of these other things that we have seen.
It's time for another Lazy Man's episode. My friend Lisa Estrada, give me a hug. Give me a hug. All right. Oh.
I may be a little sarcastic in this video, but I don't think that we're going to be making actual enchiladas. I mean, just looking at the ingredients here, doesn't look like it. But hopefully Jack is going to be using Jack cheese. I mean, if it's the Cooking with Jack show, you would at least think that he's going to be using Jack cheese to make the enchiladas.
She's been my lifelong friend since elementary school. And I finally got her on the show because she has that Hispanic edge that I need on my show. And we're doing Lazy Man enchiladas.
Yes.
Awesome. And she does this all the time for her Bible study. It's like the first thing to go. In fact, it's the only thing there, so it is the first thing to go. But they love it.
Ooh, boy. Brings us to Bible study and they like it. I don't know if I should feel sorry for them or if they're lying, but well, we'll see how it turns out to see whether it's good or not. But if it's anything like the last video, I don't believe them.
I have to preface before we let her unleash her recipe. I do red sauce on my enchiladas. She does green, so whatever one you like, we're gonna put it down below. You can do red or green sauce. But today, I bought the red sauce thinking we were doing red sauce, and she's like, "What, Jack, you didn't get green?" I'm like, whatever. We'll get over it. So this is what Lazy Man means. I don't have to go back to the store. We're doing red sauce today. It's gonna be awesome.
Well, we're gonna see at the end if it is awesome or not. But normally when you get enchiladas at a restaurant or even if you make it at home, you can pick green or red enchilada sauce. It's not an issue. You could use both as well, do half and half. And if I could get the ingredients, I would make some because I really love enchiladas.
My family loves enchiladas. All right, come on in close.
Okay, first of all, you want to get 1.5 pounds of raw ground beef. Doesn't really matter if it's in this package or you buy the little package, whatever is cheaper. And then you want to get 2 cans of enchilada sauce, whether it's green or red is up to your preference. These come in mild, medium, and super hot and spicy.
If you omit the enchilada salsa, right now it kind of looks like we're going to be making nachos, not enchiladas. I mean, I don't even see tortillas because normally when you make enchiladas, you make them with corn tortillas and they're using the potato chips. But if you want to make your enchiladas better, instead of buying the pre-canned enchilada sauce, it's better to make your own if you can get the ingredients. But it is much better to make your own.
You also want to get 1 can of sliced olives, and that's to decorate or throw inside, whichever you prefer. And 1 onion, you're going to chop that up. That's for the meat. That's going to all go together. You want a large can of salsa, whatever your favorite kind is. This one's mild because we like this mild so everybody can eat it. But these also come in medium and super spicy.
Paste chili sauce. This is a very, very popular sauce in the US. You will literally see it everywhere. Now when making enchiladas, normally you have the enchilada salsa, which is a fine pureed salsa that you add to the enchiladas. Green or red is typical. Now if you want, you can add more enchilada salsa, or if you do want, you can add a salsa fresca, you can add guacamole if you want later on to it while you're eating. But to actually make the enchiladas themselves.
And you want 1 big bag of cheese. This one is 2 pounds, and that's going to get mixed in.
I wonder if Jack's favorite cheese is Jack cheese. Now to make enchiladas, if Monterey Jack is the only thing that you have in the house, that's fine, you can use it. You can use queso fresco, or if you can get it, you can use cotija. It's made from cow's milk. It's a white cheese, and if it's fresh, it's more like feta, but often it's also aged. It's salty, and it adds a lot of flavor. It's a very nice cheese to use.
And then you want to take 2 bags of these littler bags of cheese, and that's going to be for the top. And then you want 2 bags of chips. No need to spend all kinds of money on expensive ones because these were only, I think, a couple bucks each, and they will totally do, and you will see why once we start filming. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is brown the ground beef and add the diced onion to it and brown it all together. Okay, the first thing you want to do is...
Well, that was quick. I guess we'll just skip cooking the beef. And if anybody's wondering what this pan is that she's using, this is what we call professionally a gastro, or you can also call it a hotel pan. They come in various sizes, but she's using a full-size gastro, and we use these for everything from storage to cooking to baking to basically whatever. They come in very handy, even in the house. I use them.
The first thing you want to do is take your bag of chips and you're going to smash it. Just don't be shy, just smash it all up. And then you're going to pour that in your big bucket. Doesn't matter if you smash it perfect or not. Put all that in.
I mean, it was a little odd that we were using tortilla chips to begin with to make enchiladas because they're made with tortillas normally, but crushing the tortilla chips up in the gastro, and I see a little bit of sauce next to it.
Then the next thing you're going to do is dump your whole jar of salsa, not the small one, but this medium size. Just dump it all in there. Then you're going to take your enchilada sauce, just pour it in gently. Don't get red sauce everywhere because then you'll have to clean it up. And then the second can, pour it in there gently. Then you're going to take your ground beef that had the sauteed onions and all and just pour the whole thing. Don't worry about draining it unless you really want to drain it, but the juice kind of comes in handy because you want it to be a little liquidy for when it bakes. Then it's not going to be all dry.
Guys, I'd appreciate it a lot if you could hit that like button to give me the courage to be able to finish this, because seriously, this is tough. If we're talking about like Tex-Mex, there is such a thing as a taco salad, which is crushed tortilla chips or tacos with a little bit of lettuce and meat and everything else on it, but the chips are still crunchy, they're still crispy. Doing this by adding all that liquid to it now, and then you're going to be baking it on top of that, the tortilla chips are going to be soggy. And just to remind everyone, yeah, enchiladas are made with tortillas, not tortilla chips, tortillas.
Then you take your big bag of cheese, the whole entire 2 pounds, and you just dump it all in. Don't be shy, it doesn't have to be pretty, all it has to do is taste good, and it's going to taste delicious, trust you me.
Don't tell me that we're going to be adding 2 pounds of cheese mixed in with this. Now, 2 pounds or 2.2 pounds is 1 kilo. So this is almost a kilo of cheese.
Alrighty, then what you're going to do is you're just going to mix it all together. Give it a good mixing. Right on hand, you're going to want to have a little bit of milk, because if it isn't...
we're going to be adding milk on top of this.
If it doesn't coat everything real well, you're just going to kind of add a little bit of milk so that it's not too dry, because when you bake it, it's going to absorb the liquid, and you don't want it to be super dry.
Well, at least it's Costco milk, it's organic. Kirkland brand, though, is pretty good. I really do miss shopping in Costco. And for everybody that doesn't know what Costco is a very big supermarket chain, but Unlike a normal grocery store where you buy like one item at a time, you buy in bulk and you can save a lot of money. You can also spend a lot, but you get a lot.
So get a little milk and just kind of pour it in. You don't want to pour too much, so don't put too much at the beginning. Just kind of pour a little. Mix it really, really good. Make sure everything's distributed all evenly.
I think it was a bad idea having breakfast. I'm serious. I think I need to take a break. You know, I have to admit that I've seen some pretty disgusting things in my life, food related, I mean, and this is up there with being like one of the worst. Not the worst, but it's up in the top 5, maybe 3. If any of you have ever wanted to see like what partially digested food looks like in your stomach, just pause the video, take a photo of that, and every time you want to remember, have a look.
Okay, now what you're going to do is take your spray and just spray the edges really good. Give it a quick spray all the way around so it doesn't stick anywhere in the tray.
Pam spray. Sprays I don't like using. Please tell me that this is a joke video. Like seriously, this can't be an actual recipe.
Preheat your oven to 350 so that it heats up because you want it to be at 350 when you put this in. And then come back and we'll top our casserole. Okay, now what you're going to do is take your small bag of cheese and that's going to be your topping. Just dump the whole entire thing out. You can either use plain mozzarella and cheddar mix or you can use what they call taco and nacho or Mexican blend. Either one, it's up to you. It just adds a little bit of extra flavor if you use the taco nacho or the Mexican blend.
The taco and nacho cheese blend adds flavor. Well, if you actually read the label, it says that there's taco seasoning in it. So obviously they put a bunch of spices in it as well. But if you want to make this taste even better with some good cheese, then you should use some better cheese. But the other thing is that when you make enchiladas, you don't want to treat it like a casserole where you just mix and mash everything together and you just throw it in the pan and cook it. It's more like cannellonis. You want to take each and every little individual tortilla, fill them, roll them, and then line them up in the pan. You put a little bit of sauce, a little bit of cheese on them, and they're delicious.
Just spread that over evenly so that every place is covered, because once you bake it at the 350, it's going to be baked for 1 hour. The top will get nice and crusty. It'll be really kind of crunchy and delicious. Okay, Ooh. Look at this, folks. Delicioso. Does that look awesome or what?
So seriously, we have soggy tortilla chips mixed with sauce, meat, and cheese, baked for about an hour in the oven. Then we have shredded cheese that we layered on top and burnt. Whoa, boy.
Okay, so now we're going to cut us a big old healthy piece. Oh, it's going right in, and give it a healthy piece, because once you taste it and it comes out so delicious, steaming, melting the cheese, and you put the little toppings, it's going to be scrumptious.
If you forget the crispy cheese for a minute and you just look at the texture, it's just mush. It's like baby food. It's just mashed up.
Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to just put a nice, healthy dollop of sour cream on the top. Delicious. In Spanish, we call this crema. And then you're going to put a few olives on top just to make it look pretty. Actually, if you want to put a few extras, that'll be good. And you're ready to eat.
They say that beauty is on the inside, but sometimes what you see is what you get. And this does not look pretty. No matter what you add to this, it's not going to save it. The only thing that could save this is to bin it. Throw it in the trash and start over again, because seriously, I have a few words for this. I can't say it on YouTube, but no.
All right, so let's give this a try.
Okay.
That looks good. I appreciate you holding the dish for me. Thank you.
No worries.
Oh, wow. It's a little warm.
Now watch. What do you want to bet that Jack is going to say that this is delicious?
It's a little warm.
So delicioso.
I got hog this.
What do you think?
That's enchiladas. That is real enchiladas.
What? Now, being nice, if somebody thinks that this is what enchiladas should taste like or should be like, means that they haven't actually had real enchiladas, because this has nothing to do with enchiladas. You don't have the texture, the flavor. I can't tell, but I can imagine right now because I've tasted pretty much all these ingredients. Never together, mashed together like this, but I've tasted them, and it's not enchiladas.
Wow, you didn't want that, did you? Did you want that?
You can have it, Jack.
No, it's okay. I'm teasing.
After a bite, let me have
No, I got one more bite too. Oh my gosh, it's like we're in school again. Except school food was never this good.
So delicious.
All right, here we go.
Really? You mean that their school food was worse than this? I can remember back to first grade, and I remember that school food wasn't bad, it was normal, but it wasn't like this.
Oh, I'm sorry, am I still eating in front of you? I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Take care.
Oh, bloopers. Shall we watch the bloopers? Let's watch the bloopers.
Okay, so I've got
Am I supposed to feed you?
I need to, huh?
Am I going to feed you?
No.
What type of show has this turned into? You know, to be honest, I don't think that's the first time that she has said that to him. It may be the first time that he said no, at least on camera, but I don't think it's the first time that she said it.
Sorry.
Okay, the first thing you want to do is take your meat, chop up your onion fine, and then you're going to ground your beef.
Try it again because you say ground your beef. You want to brown your What are you worried about? Okay, this looks so amazing. Is that you?
Yes.
Is that your phone?
Yes.
In your shirt?
Hello.
We're about ready to
Yes.
film the tasting. What are you doing?
Can I call you back, or can you call me back in 15 minutes?
Hurry, the sour cream's melting.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
You know, sometimes some things are best left unsaid. Right, so that was the second review that we've done with Cooking with Jack because everybody was asking for it. We finally did a second one, you know, why not? Come on, let's give him another chance.
Look how juicy it is. Look at the pool. Oh, look at that. That's great.
Yeah! I think the beginning of this video is wrong because it doesn't say McCormick's bag and seasoning. Instead, it says football finger food, shrimp and chorizo, quesadillas with smoky guacamole. And I don't think we're going to be seeing that today.
We are cooking like fiends. That's right, we're going crazy in the kitchen on the Cooking with Jack show. One recipe after another. Guess what's coming soon? That's right, chilies, soups, and stews. So if you got anything special, anything unique, you got a turtle soup recipe, send it my way.
Turtle soup recipe. That's something I've never tried before.
You got a killer award-winning chili. I have one already in the email box, but send them on over.
We haven't reviewed his chili recipe yet. I assume it's going to be something like the last enchilada video that we reviewed, and I need a little time to recover from that video.
Right now, though, we're doing a product review. It's called Bag and Season. Bag and Season Original Chicken.
Okay, so the skin or no skin on the whiteboard is not actually written on there. It looks a little too perfect anyway. It looks like a computer did it.
Now, I haven't used a bag and seasoning, a prepackaged thing like this, since I was probably that big. My mom used to do this thing called shake and bake. That's right, I think they still have it. And you put it in a bag and you shake it up and then you bake it.
There's a movie that Will Ferrell actually made, and all he kept saying in that movie was, "Shake and bake!" And I can't get it out of my head now.
I'm gonna do half a chicken in this, and then another half a chicken in my regular gourmet seasoning that I have, the best gourmet seasoning you'll ever taste, and we're gonna see if there's a difference. I'm not looking to say mine's better than this. That's not why we're doing this.
Well, that's nice that Jack's not trying to show that his product's better than McCormick's, but it does say the best gourmet seasoning that you will ever taste, so it kind of defeats the purpose. Also, if anybody has actually tasted Jack's seasoning, please let me know what any of his seasonings actually taste like.
I'm just doing a lazy season with mine on chicken in a pan, and then using their bag and seasoning and seeing if it's moisture, if it has a good flavor. I'll let you know if this is good.
Moisture, I kind of see where this video is going. Since I've been living overseas, I have noticed that my grammar has actually gotten a lot worse. So I'll leave it to all of you to correct the correction that he corrected, unless he didn't need to correct his correction that he created.
All right, so let's open this up carefully. Pretty nice sized bag. I'm gonna place the chicken in there.
That's it? We're just going to sprinkle the seasoning on top. We're not going to like rub it into the meat or anything, or not even a little bit of oil. And it does help actually rubbing the seasoning on, maybe a little salt.
There we go. Nice and tight. And then it says just to poke 4 little holes. So I'm gonna snip 4 little holes with the scissors.
And to be honest about this, I am not too sure of McCormick's little bag here. It seems more like a gimmick because keep in mind, this bag has to withstand pretty high temperatures in the oven. So basically what McCormick is trying to give you is a cheat on how to steam. If you don't have the luxury of being able to afford to buy a combi oven, there are tricks that you can do without sticking the food in a plastic bag. You can even put a tray of water underneath in the oven to help give it a little bit of humidity while you're cooking. It's not going to be the same thing as an actual combi oven, but it will help.
We're gonna do the best gourmet seasoning you'll ever taste. This is how I normally would do it. That would be it. And then I would just throw that in the oven.
Again, that's it, like no oil or anything. Let's define what gourmet means real quick. Relating to or being of a high quality. Specialty food typically requiring elaborate and expert preparation. And if we take a quick look, the seasoning has a very distinctive green hue to it. Like, it looks almost a little bit artificial.
Okay, if you're just doing the chicken in the bag recipe, 350 degrees for 30 minutes, 2.5 pounds of chicken that's seasoned with some vegetables. I'm gonna cook a little longer because I'm putting them side by side, so it's gonna take longer to cook.
With sous vide, you cook under the vacuum, so there's no air, or there shouldn't be any air in the bag. And you're cooking either in steam, so in a combi oven, because this is an easy way of actually using a good combi oven. You can just put the bags in the oven, set it to the temperature that you want, or you put it in water at a certain temperature, exact temperature that you want something to cook at. And the plastic's not going to melt. I just don't think it's a good idea to be using this. I can see like some pretty bad accidents happening.
Anytime there's meat involved, you want to just let it sit for a few minutes.
You can still see the seasoning on the vegetables. It's just piled on there. And on top of that, it still has this green hue to it. It looks like it kind of boiled in the oven, like it wasn't hot enough. There is no color on this chicken. Well, there's very little color on the chicken, I should say. And when you bake chicken like this, if you don't have enough color on the skin, what you can do, a little trick, is to actually take the chicken, get a saute pan or a flat top, get it super hot, oil, and sear the chicken to get a very nice color on it. As well, it will help crispen the skin.
Okay, I can tell you right now, I haven't even cut it open yet. There's steam coming out. The seasoning, though, is definitely smelling good.
Even with a normal oven, if you have a lot of humidity in it and you go to open it, you need to stand back because otherwise you can get a face full of steam and you don't want to be going to the hospital. Trust me, it hurts.
I have to say, this looks more attractive than that. Okay, so let's cut into the thigh here. The juice is running, right? Cut a piece of that right off. Leave that right there.
First of all, this is a little hard to see because it's an old video and he is cutting at the edge of the camera, but he didn't cut the thickest part of this chicken thigh. To me, it doesn't seem like this chicken is 100% done. It may be. Well, at least you could sear it and get some color on the chicken instead of this. It just looks like it's boiled.
Leave that right there. Now let's cut into this. Pull the skin back.
On top of that, all the seasoning that we added to this chicken to begin with is on the skin that we're taking off. So what's the point of adding the seasoning?
Cut right into this. Look how juicy it is. Look at the pool. Look at that. That's great. This did a great job.
It did a great job. The chicken's still undercooked. Now, if you're looking at what a lot of people will call the blood, this is more myoglobin. So this is the oxygen-rich iron that's in the blood. I want you to take a very good look at the texture of the actual meat.
That's a lot of juice. Didn't cook well right there, so I'm not going to eat that. See how that is? That's when you cut in and you test your meat. Shouldn't be red like that. This is okay to try though.
First off, he's cutting on the edge again. He's not cutting like right in the center of the chicken leg where it's a little harder for the heat to actually penetrate. So I'm sure the rest of the chicken is even more undercooked than this. Or it could also be that Jack's oven doesn't cook at true temperature. So it's not at 350. But honestly, just think about actually serving this at the dinner table to someone that's a little squeamish.
No, God!
Now I want to give you a cooking tip. It's really simple. If there's a spot of red in your chicken, when you cut into it, literally 1 minute in the microwave, boof, just pops it right out. It'll cook it the rest of the way. It won't dry it out. That's a good tip. I promise you it'll work. And don't panic. It's not a big deal, okay?
It's not that big of a deal, and there's no need to panic. But the microwave, or how Jack LASAGNA says,
full fat, which I've warmed in the microwave.
I'm not concerned about it drying out, but what can happen is that when you put the chicken in the microwave, after a minute, after 2 minutes, the meat is going to be like rubber. And unless you want to bounce it off the floor, it may be a better idea just to finish it in the oven.
All right, so let's try this one first. I'm gonna try the McCormick one, which is dripping like crazy. Here we go. Moist. Very good.
I love how he looks away from the camera. He looks down when he says, it's good, very good.
Okay, now I'm gonna try mine. Mine has a big puddle. It's not dripping. A lot of moisture though still. But I think the McCormick bag held a lot of that moisture in. That's really cool.
That's because we're using a different method of cooking. And depending on the method that you use, you will get different results.
This is good. All right, here we go. Celery.
Well, I wouldn't really expect him to say anything else because he's also using his seasoning, which he's trying to sell.
Last test. I'm gonna take a piece of the skin because that's where most of the flavoring is. If you don't like the skin, take it off and then season your meat so it'll get into the meat. All right, that's good.
If you're going to be adding all these ingredients, add a little bit of oil to the chicken, add the seasoning, mix it well, and then cook it.
This is a major success. The McCormick, what is it, the chicken season bag? Is that what it's called? Yeah. Get one of those. I think it was like $1 and change. But wow, a lot of flavor, a lot of moisture. Throw veggies in there. I'll see you on the next episode. Take care.
Kind of sounds like he was a little disappointed that he didn't beat McCormick to the idea of using a bag. Let me know down below, guys, what you think of this whole McCormick thing if you have actually used this bag yourself. To me, it seems more of a gimmick because I would actually like to see what's the maximum temperature that you can put this in the oven at before it actually melts on you.
Niece and nephew, better smack like butter now. Uncle Roger torturing myself for you.
Yeah, well, Uncle Roger's not the only one suffering. If you do happen to enjoy this video, guys, then please do hit that like button because trust me, this it's not easy for me actually watching Jack. It isn't. It never is.
At least the intro slightly improved.
Yeah. Well, depending on who you ask, but yeah, the intro is a little better.
Okay, so this is another spur of the moment video, and I'm going to explain it to you in a minute. It's kind of sick and gross.
Sick and gross. You know, I don't think I've ever heard Jamie, and I'm not comparing the two of them, yeah, I'm not, because Jamie is an actual chef, yeah, he's 10 million times better than Jack with the cooking. Even though we may not like all the recipes, I'd still like Jamie. But the worst thing I think Jamie has used for any of the words to explain anything is gnarly.
Chicken's looking amazing. Gnarly on both sides and just cooked through perfectly.
I don't think he's used sick and gross before. Maybe he has in one of his videos, I don't know. If any of you have seen Jamie say anything like somewhat similar like this, let me know.
It's sponsored by Harry's Razors today.
What? He got...
Right, Harry's Razors back if you guys...
This guy got sponsor!
Well, Uncle Roger, I feel the same way. I mean, once in a while I'll get a sponsor and it's great, but it seems like Jack does get quite a few sponsors, doesn't it? I don't know, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't.
Oh my god, Harry Razor, who you sponsoring?
These are all left over from other videos. I pulled it all out. So we got these sweet potatoes.
Sweet potato,
Turkey, smoked turkey. Some leftover bacon, that's on its way out.
Leftover bacon.
The injected sirloin, the smoked is in here. I'll show you all that.
Sirloin steak.
When I did the smoked sirloin,
hot
I put
dog.
dogs on there. I got an onion.
Oh.
It's like ready to start oozing crap.
Oozing.
I'm serious. If I don't use this onion today, it's going in the garbage.
Everything should go in garbage now? None of this shit look fresh?
Guys, real quick, if you have things that may start to be going bad in the fridge, like some veggies or anything, you can cook them and it can give you a couple more days, yeah, before it turns like bad. But if the veggies or anything starts to turn putrid, like really turning bad, don't try to save it. Really, if you have, say, lettuce or any herbs and they start to smell like grass clippings, throw them out. If you have meat that starts to have a really putrid smell, not good to be eating it because you can make yourself sick.
Usually when people make cooking video, they use freshest ingredient, some farm to table shit. This guy not farm to table. He trash can to table.
Yeah, normally it is like farm to table, you know, or from seed to table, or something like fresh, because fresh is best. But this is the first time, like literally, I've ever heard anyone use or see anyone use rotten ingredients to make soup. I mean, there are some dishes that exist where you want the meat to actually turn, like the Greenland shark, for example. This is one process of either curing or anything. I'm not an expert on Scandinavian cuisine, but you know, it's not a pretty thing to eat. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, I haven't smelled it in person, but it's supposed to be horrific.
I don't want to waste any food, so I called it garbage stew.
Garbage stew. I get it. Wasting food, bad for environment. So you use all the food to save the planet.
If you do have a bit of space and you have a garden, you can do what a lot of people do and just make compost. It's to take all the ingredients that you don't need or the leftovers, the scraps, put it in the little bin, allow that to turn into compost. You know, you have to move it around a bit, let it basically break down, get some earthworms and everything, and you can have fertilizer, free fertilizer for your garden. Again, if you have anything going bad in the fridge, guys, do not try to eat it. Don't.
The onion is no good. There's stuff oozing out of it. I don't want to ruin the dish. Or make my...
You don't want to ruin the dish, but you name your dish garbage stew.
Right.
Oh.
Cut up all the hot dogs. I don't know how I want the
hot dog in stew?
I guess I'll do them in just small pieces.
That weird ingredient.
Just like kind of like this.
Have you ever had hot dog stew? I know beef stew, chicken stew, but hot dog in stew?
If you don't want to like cut all the meat up, you can actually shred it. It's a little more work, but you know, you can get a different like texture with the soup. So it'll be nice, like with chicken soup. You can shred it, or you can leave it whole in little pieces and leave it chunky.
Right, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take this lime, so just take your hand and roll it.
Lime, sweet potato, garlic. He's just throwing random shit in pot now. The Rachel Ray way.
She's actually quite a successful businesswoman, so she cooks better than this, but yeah, it is a bit of a, I don't know, it's weird combinations. Sweet potatoes, lime, and garlic and everything is just not good.
The chopping so awkward.
Cut them in small pieces. Good?
No, don't put your finger out like that. You're gonna cut yourself.
Just like that.
Oh, okay, that better.
Now, if you want to cook anything faster, a great way on speeding up the cooking process is to actually cut everything super small, or smaller at least, not super small, or thinner. That way it can cook much quicker. Because if you look at the pieces right now, the sweet potato that Jack's cutting is going to take a long time to cook. Unless, of course, you do want these pieces and you are going to be like cooking or stewing it for a long time.
His food's so terrible. If he cut himself, the blood actually make it taste better.
My crock pot was not big enough for all my leftover garbage in my fridge. So I now have to go with my mom's old sauce pot. I love you, Mom. Thanks for leaving this to me.
If that's the only thing your mom leave you, you know you're not the favorite child in family.
Anytime that you're not sure on how much you're going to make, it is a good idea to use like a bigger pot. Otherwise, you know, you can run into some complications.
Put in the meat. It's all cut up. Bacon, hot dog, turkey, and
weird combination.
Next, the fresh vegetables.
Wait, vegetable, go in already. No. When you're making Western food, this kind of vegetable, the carrot, the celery, the onion, they form the base of your dish. It's called mirepoix.
Huh? Uncle Roger knows what mirepoix is. Very nice. But I didn't see Jack cut any carrots, just sweet potatoes. And sweet potatoes and carrots are not the same vegetable. But mirepoix is the French aromatic vegetables that we use to start soups, sauces, stews, a lot of things. In Italian cooking, they use a sofrito, which is the same as mirepoix, and then here in Spain, we also use a sofrito, but it's different than mirepoix. other veggies.
But you can't just put vegetable in raw like this. You have to saute them first, caramelize them a little bit, bring the sweetness out for better flavor. Don't just whack it in there like this. Mirepoix is Western cooking basic. You also don't know.
Green beans, the stew of corn.
Oh.
But what Uncle Roger expect?
They're not hot, by the way.
It called garbage too.
Ortega chilies.
I think I'm setting my standard too high.
You know, I think I did too reviewing Jack's first video, and then the second one I set my standards a little lower, and right now I don't have any standards really with reviewing Jack. I just expect him to make something that's a little edible, something.
I should cut those up.
Uncle Roger always say, cook with feeling, but his feeling all wrong.
Jalapenos. Little Cajun seasoning.
What?
A beer.
The beer actually freshest ingredient in this stew.
I don't know about the beer being the freshest ingredient, but I will say this. I bet it's the best tasting thing.
Doesn't this look like it might fit in my crock pot? Doesn't it? All right, let's try it.
Who care?
Go back to the garage and go get it. If it doesn't fit, it's gonna be pretty darn.
Who care what pot you cook in? Garbage is still garbage. Oh no, now you're ruining 2 pots instead of 1.
Here, Melo. You're gonna do 4 hours on high or 8 on low. I'm gonna do 4 hours on high.
Put it in for like 24 hours. Just burn the whole thing down. Uncle Roger don't care anymore.
4 hours it's going to be cooking as well. You know, after a few hours it's going to kill all the bacteria and anything in it. But again, if anything has turned, yeah, you need to be a little careful about this. And guys, if you ever see like a tin can that's bloated, do not use it because it's not common, but you can get what's called botulism. And botulism is nothing to play with. You can get very sick or you can lose your life eating it, yeah? Contaminated food.
Okay, when you have about 15 minutes left, I want you to take the lid off. You ready to take a peek?
No.
Take a peek. There it
No.
is.
Oh!
Oh, it's beautiful.
Beautiful? Really?
Beautiful. Everything looks so uncooked still. Look at the hot dog just floating in there next to the clump of meat. Oh my god. This is food kidnapper feed to victim. Instead of garbage stew, Nephew Jack, you should call this fritzel soup.
Sure. There we go. And then once you pulled it all out, you can either snap a picture of it and then send it to me on Facebook on the show page.
Please, don't give him more fan engagement, please.
No, don't encourage him. Now watch this. I'm sure Jack is going to be saying that this is the best tasting soup ever. It's either that he truly believes this, he doesn't have any taste buds, or he's fibbing. Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Cajun flavor
You like this?
and jalapenos. Oh, oh yeah.
See what I mean? He likes it. Not only that, but he did a little whoa. He was so happy about it.
Call him Leonardo DiCaprio. He's so good at acting.
I've really never done a garbage stew before, but I had to use all the ingredients. All right, so I'm gonna eat this for dinner with my family. I will see.
Dinner with your family.
Take care.
No, who your family? Pack of stray dog. This look like food for divorced people. Like when Auntie Helen leave me, I just take whatever shit she left behind in the fridge and I make food from that. I think Nephew Jack is the guy version of K cooking.
You're not thinking about it. I haven't said it, but I also made this little comparison. I was thinking, yeah, you know, it's like you have Kay's cooking in the UK and then you have Jack in the US. But I do have to admit, I still think that Kay can cook better than Jack. I mean, she has made some things that are not nice, but I still think if you go to Kay's very first video or recipe video, it's not that bad. And Jack, I haven't seen a good one yet.
Uncle Roger hope I don't meet this guy in real life. He even making all white people ancestor cry now.
Are you a foam guy or are you a shaving cream guy?
I'm a no mayo in salad guy. There'll be so many bloopers for this.
Well, guys, that was difficult to watch, but not as bad as I actually thought it was. Maybe it's because Uncle Roger was also suffering and it made it a little easier. But that was not easy to watch.